Hi everyone, it's me Alicia, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how I create an inset with Inkscape using the Zindee SVG file that comes with your purchase. Now before I get started, let me first say that this is my very first time creating a tutorial demonstrating how to work an editing program. I am far from being tech savvy and I do not know any graphic design terminology, so please go easy on me if I ramble and stumble on my words. This video is going to be as basic as I can possibly make it in hopes that those who struggle with editing programs, such as myself, can grasp the concept on how to create an inset image. If you know an easier, more sufficient way than what I plan to demonstrate, please share in the comments below. I would love to know. Alright, so before we get started, let me just go ahead and explain really quick what an inset is. An inset is basically just creating a smaller image within a larger image. So you're going to think to yourself, why do I need to create an inset? If you're having a problem with sizing and fitting your image onto your keychain, or if your vinyl is lifting from your keychain after you've applied epoxy or UV resin, then an inset would be something to consider doing. This will help stop your vinyl from lifting, and it will also help fit your image accordingly. As you can see, I have already opened up the Apple Zindee SVG file in Inkscape, and when you open up your file, you're going to notice that there are two images. You're going to notice a solid black image, and you're going to notice the actual image itself, but they do come grouped, but we need these separated. So in order to do that, we're going to go and make sure that we select the images, and then we're going to go to Object and Ungroup. Now your images are both separated. Okay, so let's go ahead and focus on this black solid image here. I like to consider this image to be the canvas piece that you're going to use to apply all of your vinyl to. So this is going to actually be your acrylic keychain piece, okay? So what I'm going to do for visualization purposes is I'm going to change this apple to a brown. This is just going to represent the film that your acrylic piece comes with. So now what we need to do to create the inset is we have to duplicate this canvas piece here. Okay, so it's already selected. I'm just going to right click my mouse, go down to duplicate, and I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to move it, but I am going to change it black. This is going to represent your first vinyl piece, which is going to be your first inset piece. But in order for us to inset it, we have to change it to a path. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that the duplicated piece is selected, and we're going to go to Path, Object to Path, and we're going to go to Path, Union. So now that this is now a path, we can now change it into an inset. So we're going to keep it selected, and we're going to go to the Edit Path by Nodes, and we're going to select that. And now that you're going to see all of these little dots, those are considered nodes. So we're going to leave it just like that. And now we're going to go back to the path. And then we're going to go down to where you see Inset. And you just click that once. And now you have your first inset layer. I'm going to zoom in so you can see. So the black piece is your first, the black piece, one more time. The black piece is your first vinyl piece, and the brown is representing your keychain, guys. So now you can see that you have space between your vinyl and at the edge of your acrylic piece. So when you apply your UV resin or your your UV resin or your epoxy, all of this will be completely sealed. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out. Okay, so now that we have your first inset layer, we're going to now go and move on to your actual vinyl pieces. Okay, now that we're moving on to our actual vinyl pieces, I'm going to go ahead and break these pieces down. Now, depending on the image that you're working with, there may be multiple pieces, but in this case, we're only working with 4. So I have the entire image selected. I'm going to go ahead and ungroup all of these images. So you just need to make sure that the image is selected, and you're going to go to Object, Ungroup. Now there should all be individual pieces. So you have your main apple. You're going to I have the little reflection piece, your leaf, and stem. So there's 4 pieces altogether, okay? So I have noticed that with this particular image, there is a sliced image here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a square really quick, just so you can see what I'm talking about with the slice. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to go ahead and lower to bottom. Okay, so now about the slice image that I was just talking about, I'm going to go ahead and show you. If I move this, you now have this sliced piece here. So when you're cutting with your vinyl machine, it's going to cut this piece out of the body of the apple. I personally don't like that because what happens is when your machine cuts this piece here and then you go and you apply it to your acrylic piece, you now have to try to line up that piece, and it can get a little bit tough, or a little bit tricky. So I avoid all of that by simply eliminating this slice here. And let me show you how I go ahead and do that. So I just simply select that little reflection piece, and I'm just going to move it off, not the apple, sorry about that. I'm going to select the piece and I'm going to move it off to this side. Now you're going to select the apple itself, and you're going to go to path, break apart. Now that break apart simply just deleted that slice piece, okay? And then once it does that, you're going to go back to path, union. Now it's one solid piece, but you still have that reflection piece. So when you cut this piece out, you can place it anywhere you want and you won't have that slice. And you won't have to worry about making sure that it's lined up when you're applying it to your keychain, okay? So now that we have that done, I'm going to go ahead and reselect all the images, and all I do is just hold my shift key, and this image is already selected. I'm going to select the apple, the leaf, and the stem. Now that they're all selected, I'm going to go ahead and go to object and group. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this square here. I'm just going to delete that. Okay, so now we should be able to move this to the front, and you will now have your inset. You just got to line it up, and now you have your inset. There you go. So the other thing is, when you're going to save your image, I'm going to delete this brown image here because you don't need it. And I'll show you why when I load it on Design Space. So let me just go ahead and delete this. Alright, and then I'm going to go to File, Save, and I have it saved on my desktop. Alright, let me just go ahead and now move this over to Design Space. Okay, now I uploaded the Apple image onto my Design Space, and you're going to see that it is all loaded and funky, but we're going to fix that. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to simply large it up. I'm going to ungroup so I can see, ungroup again. I'm going to just line the apple up with everything. And that goes like that. And this little image here. Okay, I'm going to fix that up, and I'm going to group all of those together. And I'm going to move this off to the side. Now, the sizing is completely off, and if you were to go ahead and print this out, it's not going to fit your keychain whatsoever. So now you're going to ask yourself, okay, so how do you know the size of your keychain? And this is what I do. It's an extra step that I still haven't figured out exactly how to eliminate this process, but this is the way that I do it. I actually upload the Zindee SVG file, and I'm going to upload it, open, and that's the file. There it is, and insert. This is the true size of the image of the acrylic. Now I'm going to ungroup these. Remember, this black solid image is your actual acrylic piece. We don't need this piece, but I will just simply hide it. What we do need is the size of this, the actual image itself, which is 2.679 and 2.888. I need this to be this size. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. And I'm going to change the size, which was 2.679 by 2.888. Okay, now that should be the size of your keychain. Let me just go ahead and hide this. And I'm going to pull up, where is it? Was it this one here? I'm going to pull up the actual acrylic keychain. And I'm going to change it brown, because remember the brown is representing the film. And I'm going to, oops, I have to send it to the front. And I know it's a little bit hard to see, but just kind of line it up. I'm going to blow it up for you guys so you can see that you now have your inset design in your acrylic piece. I hope this makes sense. Okay, so let me just go ahead and resize this apple. Let me go ahead and delete this. Oh no, actually I'll just hide it for right now. And let me go ahead. So I have it written down. I have all the Zindee files sizes written down on a piece of paper, so I can just pull up when I create images like this or they need to be resized, and so I don't have to constantly reload the image over and over again, if that makes any sense. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and cut all of your pieces. So let's go ahead and go to make it. And I'm going to go ahead and cut all these pieces out, and then I will see you guys in a few minutes, and I will show you how I put the keychain together.
Alrighty, now that we've edited and created an inset image, I went ahead and cut out all of my vinyl, and I've also weeded it as well. And we're going to work with the 3-inch acrylic Zindee keychain. And remember in the beginning of the tutorial, I talked about the film that your keychains come with, and it comes on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the film with my weeding tool here. I'm going to try hard not to ramble as much, even though this is going to consider a ramble really quick. I have been up for almost 24 hours. I don't sleep. I'm not a sleeper. It's really weird. I go through these weird little cycles, but I'm okay. So I'm probably just going to be a little loopy, and so just bear with me, please. Okay, so I removed the film. After I remove the film, I clean it with a little wipe, a lint-free nail wipe. Let me show you what it is. The lint-free nail wipes. There we go. I got 2 boxes for, I believe it's like $7 on Amazon. This just helps with when I clean my acrylic pieces. You won't get like any little dust bunnies or lint from using these wipes. And I just go ahead and clean it just to help remove any of the oils from my hand or any little dust bunnies that landed on the acrylic piece. And then I just go ahead and grab a dry wipe and I just wipe it down because sometimes the alcohol can leave those little alcohol streaks. Okay. Now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and put that aside, and we're going to go ahead. Let me show you, this is the first layer, the first inset layer that we created in Inkscape, and I'm going to go ahead and apply this to the Apple keychain. Let me go ahead, and I've already had a transfer piece cut out from a previous project. I'm going to go ahead and sit down. And save that piece. going to go ahead and line this up. Now, I did notice while creating the inset layer that the keyhole was missing from the file. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I do to create that keyhole after I'm done applying all of the vinyl. Okay. So let me go, sorry if I get in the video here, I'm just going to line this image up, or the vinyl piece up. That looks pretty good for me. All right. Go ahead and now I work with UV resin. I don't work with epoxy. So I do know with UV resin, if you do have little bubbles in your vinyl, don't worry about those. I pop them with my weeding tool, and you're not going to see them when you apply your UV resin. Just go ahead, that's on there. And let me show you your inset. I do notice I have a little bit of bubbles on the edge right here. Let me just go ahead. I know you're probably thinking, oh my God, you're scratching your vinyl with your squeegee thing, but you're not going to see any of these scratches when you apply your UV to it. So let me go ahead and show you up close. Here is your inset. This is going to help you when it comes to sealing. So you have space in between your vinyl and your inset layer. Okay, hopefully you can get a good view of that. Okay, and then you have the brown film on the back. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and we're going to apply the second piece. I feel like I'm really shaky. Sorry. Okay. Toss that piece. Now we're going to apply our second piece. And I want to go ahead and line this up. Sorry if I'm not talking, I'm just concentrating here. Okay, added that. Go ahead. Perfect. All right, I see a couple of air bubbles, but I'm not going to be worried about those because you're not going to see it when you apply the UV resin. But I do like to pop them. So I just grab my weeding tool and I just kind of go off to the side and I just pop it up. I think I'm just going to work with that one. Again, you're probably wondering, oh my God, you're going to scratch your vinyl. Doesn't matter because you're not going to see those scratches or any little marks and stuff when you apply the resin. I just seeing little bubbles that I just want to kind of lower down just a smidge. Use my nails. Sometimes that works. All right, I'm just going to leave it as it. All right, let's go ahead and continue on and apply the rest of the vinyl. I'm going to work a little bit faster here so we can just get this video as short as possible. And go ahead and the next piece. You just kind of line it up in your new inset layer. And what's really cool for me with the whole inset thing is it's easier to apply your layering pieces, I think. Get rid of that. Add our leaf. That's good. Okay. That off. Add the little reflection piece. See, now remember we got rid of that sliced image. You can keep that sliced image if you want that look, but what happens is if you keep that sliced image, it's just going to be black because you have that black layer, that first layer underneath, so it would be black. And I removed that piece so you only have the white piece, and then you won't have to worry about lining this little piece with that sliced image that's in the apple slice. And I'll show you, like, see, so if I wanted to, I could, you know, I can place this anywhere now, you know what I mean? Like, I can do it this way or whatever way, but it's going to go this way. So now I don't have to worry about lining it up anymore and place it however I want. Go. I'm going to go ahead and add the name. It's really funny. I have a 13-year-old daughter, and I'm like, I don't know what I should do with this Apple keychain. I know it's like Teacher Appreciation Week here in California, and you know, I'm just trying to figure out, like, my kid's 13. She's not going to want to pass out Apple keychains to 7 of her teachers. So I had to call up my best friend and say, hey, look, your daughter's in grade school. I'm going to make a keychain. What's your, you know, your daughter's teacher's name? So I'm using her daughter's teacher for this, or the name for this tutorial. Funny little story, I guess. It's funny to me, at least. Okay, now that I've applied everything, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work with that hole really quick that was there. So I'm just grabbing, like, my Cricut weeding tool, and I'm going to turn it around, and I just want to see and where the hole is, and I'm just going to poke it. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and poke it back, and I just kind of move my weeding tool around. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and just smooth it out inside of the hole, or smooth it in the inside of the hole, so the vinyl is laying in the hole flat. And then I'll go ahead and I'm going to apply just a little bit of UV resin to kind of seal it. That might be a little bit hard to show on camera, but okay. So now that we have our image, I leave the film on the back when I'm applying the UV just to protect the back. Okay, and the UV resin I'm going to use today is the Lumino UV resin. Sorry, it's a really ugly, dingy vinyl or bottle. I've had this for some time now. So I'm going to go ahead, and it's on its last leg, so it's going to take me just a few seconds to get some out. And also keep in mind, when applying UV resin and even epoxy as well, I'm going to say the same thing, dot, dot, not a lot. That's just my thing that I say to myself when I'm applying epoxy and UV resin. A little goes a long way. You can always add, but it's harder to subtract. It just creates more work. Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit here just for an easier spread. And I'll just add a little bit to the stem. Just a dot. Okay. I have some epoxy on my hand because that bottle is gross. I'm just going to wipe my hand, sorry. And then I'm going to use my silicone eyeshadow brush, but I'm going to wipe it down just to make sure that there's nothing, any glitter or anything. Dry it off. Okay. So now I'm going to apply, and I'm literally just going to spread the UV resin. I hope I'm in the camera, sorry. Okay, just wanted to check. All right. And I think we're good. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take my weeding tool just because I see little air dust bunnies. So I'm just going to go ahead and weed those. All right. Let me go ahead and apply my heat gun so I can pop any little bubbles that are possibly there. Okay. I'll be right back. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and apply, or not apply, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in my UV lamp. I'm using a Melody Susie UV lamp. And I will be right back. All right, guys, so I let the keychain cure for about 4 minutes under my UV lamp, and once it was done curing, I then added my charm and keyring to the keychain, but I wanted to show you what the inset looks like. So now you can see that there is space between the vinyl and the edge of the acrylic throughout the whole entire keychain. This is going to help keep your vinyl sealed. If you have any questions regarding this tutorial, or if there's any other videos you would like me to make, please leave them in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for watching and take care. Bye guys.